Hi, my name is Martin Peterson, and I'm the Food Production Manager and Executive Chef at Providence Milwaukee Hospital. Today we're going to roast some vegetables, and we're going to roast vegetables today because it's easy and it's delicious. So today we're going to roast some cauliflower, some Brussels sprouts, some carrots, some mushrooms, and a butternut squash. I like roasting vegetables because it helps bring out the natural sweetness and sugars that are already in the vegetables. And it's really, really easy, and we can do it all in one pan. We're going to start with the cauliflower. Then we're going to cut it down the middle. Then we're going to cut out the core. That'll make we can pull off the rest of the leaves. And the nice thing about cauliflower is that you can cut it, or you can just sort of pull it apart. It'll just sort of come apart on its own into big florets, and we can roast them just like that. Now these are a little bit bigger, so I'm going to cut them in half. Whenever we're cutting vegetables, we want to make sure that we curl our fingers over, and we've got a good solid grip on the knife, and we're holding it pretty far up, not out here. That gives us a lot more control. So we're going to cut up a butternut squash. They're a little strange to cut, so we're going to take off the top, we're going to take off the bottom, and then we're going to cut it in half. It's really important you want the knife all the way down on the cutting board, and you want to push through gently. Now we have a nice flat surface to work with, and so we're going to cut this in half. And then we can just take the knife and go around the squash, cut out that little bit right there. And we're going to cut the squash into sort of even sizes, into little sort of cubes. And you can do this with any kind of sort of hard skinned squash, delicata, or you can also use a sweet potato. I like roasting squash. They're naturally sweet, and when they roast them, they're really tasty. So we're also going to roast some potatoes with round vegetables. It's nice to create a flat surface. And since we've got pretty big vegetables so far, these are going to be pretty large. The other nice thing about creating flat surfaces is it creates more contact with the pan, and you get more caramelization, which equals more yumminess. We're going to add a carrot. We're going to take off the top. And with a long vegetable like this, we're going to cut it in half. That way we have two different parts to work with. And this half, which we're going to cut down the middle. So we also want to make sure that when we're chopping things for roasted vegetables, that they're roughly the same size or their appropriate size, so that when everything goes into the oven, they cook at about the same rate. All right, we're going to roast some mushrooms. Always important to sort of rinse off your mushrooms. We're just going to cut these in half. And finally, our Brussels sprouts. So we're going to take off the ends. It's that tiny little tip right there. I know a lot of people don't like Brussels sprouts, but roasted Brussels sprouts are pretty tasty. We're going to go ahead and cut these in half. All right, so to season our roasted vegetables, we're going to use some fresh herbs. We've got some parsley, and we have some rosemary, and some thyme. And we're just going to chop them up a little bit. Make a nice rocking motion. Tip of the knife just stays on the cutting board, sort of go back and forth. Then we'll use some rosemary. Just going to peel off the leaves and the thyme. And peel the leaves off of the thyme. And that we're going to chop like that. Pour the herbs in. We're going to have a little bit of olive oil and then a pinch of salt and pepper. So we're going to toss our vegetables gently. Now that everything's all nicely mixed up, it's going to go into the sheet pan. So I like roasting vegetables at 400 degrees. That way we get lots of caramelization and crispy surface areas. All right, our roasted vegetables are all done. They took about an hour. Roasted vegetables are served great when they're hot. They're nice room temperature also. So they got lots of uses, and you can use whatever vegetables you have. We used pretty sturdy vegetables today, but we can also use things like asparagus or green beans, broccoli. You have roasted vegetables, make a wonderful side dish. Thanks for joining me in the kitchen today, and I'll see you next time.